Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Microdose Your Wellness. I have a few questions for you. Are you interested in starting a business, but maybe you're afraid or don't know where to start? Do you feel like you don't know enough, or perhaps you're not an expert in anything, so online teaching isn't for you? I felt the same. My next guest is Carla Basinger, a business coach and online course creator at carlabasinger.com. She specializes in Instagram marketing and also happens to be my coach. She works with high achieving female entrepreneurs, helping them build their own profitable online businesses through the power of Instagram. Her mission is to empower women to take the first steps towards monetizing their passion and to grow their brand online, allowing them to reach a wider audience and create more wealth and freedom in their lives. She grew her own audience to over 40,000 followers and taught over 50,000 entrepreneurs about Instagram. And with that, Carla Basinger. Hi, it's so good to see you. I always love connecting with you because like every time I get off the phone or off a Zoom call with you, I'm like, I feel so like empowered and like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. And you've helped me so much in my business, and just getting things off the ground and understanding where to go that it like, so I'm super excited about this conversation because I know you'll be able to help other people. But anyway, how are you? How is Portugal?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on your show. I've been watching your different episodes on Instagram, so I feel super honored to be one of your guests. I'm good.
Well, you look great.
Thank you. So do you.
Smoke and mirrors, what I say.
Yeah, so Portugal, I think we're in a like phase 2/3 now, so things are feeling like a little more normal with masks, but able to go out. Some shops are open, so it's feeling like normality is coming back, which is nice.
That is good. Yeah. I mean, we're still in California, it's still like phase one. I'm still terrified. Like, my mom and I, when we go places, it's like there's gloves and masks, and, it's like this is just fashion now. This is what we do. But,
Yep.
um, yeah, I mean, who knew? I mean, had you told me in January that by June we'd be wearing, face masks as like fashion, I would have laughed. I would have said that you're crazy. But this year, I mean, as you know, for me personally, I mean, this year has been crazy for you. I know that you've also experienced, some turbulence as well. And I mean, like, we're also, not only are we in the midst of a pandemic, but, there's a lot of, social uprising, which is amazing. And so,
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about, you know, you help women get their businesses up and running. You help people sort of see the beauty in themselves so that they can shine online and help them get their Instagram game on point and all of these things. I mean, you have such a variety of skill sets. And I mean, that's how we met. I took one of your online courses and it was like, oh my gosh, this woman is dope. She's got some stuff to say. So how are you navigating your business amidst all of this stuff happening? And then how are you, like, what is your content? How has everything changed just as a result of all of the global change?
Yeah, I think, when Corona hit, I started seeing people kind of getting freaked out. People stopped running their ads. Even huge names in the industry like Grant Cardone apparently stopped running his ads. Then one day he went live and said he's broke, then he wasn't broke, and it was just like, what are you doing? So it definitely triggered something in people, and this is like all different levels we're talking here. So when the news came out, I freaked out and I thought to myself, my income is just relying on one income stream right now. I need to diversify. And it was that initial fear that just kind of made me innovate, which I think is cool and is needed. And, it's nothing like a pandemic that gets you thinking about what do I need to do.
Lit a fire right under my ass too. I same. I mean, it's like, oh shit, like, but I love that. And I think that diversifying income streams you need to do it. And I think that that has been one of my biggest takeaways from this as well.
Yeah. And then I think continuing to show up as a leader and to give people a sense of, hope or security in a way. And this is, I think, what is really important to me, to help women understand, okay, you might not, like if you're a brick and mortar business or if you're in the travel industry, you're not going to be selling what you would be selling normally. But this is a great time to focus on marketing because people are going to spend money again. They're definitely going to go travel again when they can. So why not use this time to grow your audience, to build that know, like, and trust, and then to, you know, have a post-corona launch party and go all out.
I love that. And I want to touch on something that you said, because we didn't really like talk about, you know, how did you get started? And it's that know, like, and trust factor. So, you know, you didn't wake up, you know, it wasn't like all, you know, your whole life, you're like, I'm going to be, you know, this is what I'm going to grow up to do. So how did this whole thing, how did your whole business get started?
So my business actually was born out of a breakup, and I had spent the previous 5 years building a business with my ex, and then found myself at 29 moving back in with my mom, having lost everything, realizing okay, so I just did, like, literally gave up my life for someone else's dream, and now I am here starting all over again. And I think that's why I've, like, you know, I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't really consider myself an expert in anything. I was initially going to create a social media course teaching business owners how to manage all of their, like, big 4 social media accounts: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, in 15 minutes a day, because I'm German and I'm all about, like, efficiency.
Yes, I love it. Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, as I was creating this course, I had to set up accounts on all of these different platforms. And my Instagram account literally went from 0 to 10,000 followers in less than 6 months. And that's kind of how I then realized, okay, this is something that apparently I'm good at, and it's something that people want. So why not focus on one platform rather than all the platforms?
Yeah.
And then, you know, just working with women, I think it's got to do with my story and just how dependent I felt when I was in my first business. And, you know, I have so many conversations with women who want to invest in their business, and they, you know, the number one objection I get is, I have to ask my husband. And while I think that's fair, and I think it's great that you make these decisions together, I also believe if you, like, you're building a business that also can contribute to your family, so you should be able to make that decision to invest in yourself and in your business.
I also get that objection quite a bit. And again, I get it. I've been married, and at 27, I was living with my parents. So I can totally
I didn't know
identify
that about you.
Yeah, I know. It's not something I talk about very often, but yes, I at 27, moved back in with, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that, or that I was able to do that. But yeah, I lived for about 8 months in my brother's old room on a twin bed after, I was 27, just about 28. It was dark days, but Saturn returns and all that other stuff. But, in that experience, I wasn't necessarily dependent on my ex. I mean, we each made our own money. He wouldn't have anything if it weren't for me. And I say that, very, like, I'm very truthful in that. But I also learned that, I have to, like, it's me, right? Like, I'm reliant on myself. And I think that, it's really come to the forefront as an entrepreneur, as I'm doing my own thing. It's like, not only am I not relying on a partner in a relationship, I'm not relying on a company for a paycheck. And it's kind of scary. It's really scary. So, I want to talk, I guess, I would love to dig into, those objections and how, those, like, investing in yourself and, how, like, what was that like for you? And then, what was that turning point, when you started to see people stop objecting to it, and really growing your business?
Yeah. I mean, I started out, my first investment was a $500 online course that taught me how to build an online course.
Mm-hmm.
And I was completely new. I didn't have any email list or any connections in the online world. And so I gave myself 6 months that was kind of my financial runway, to see if I could make this work. And I launched my first course, which is my Instagram Secrets to Success online course, which I'm still selling 4 days later.
Wonderful.
4 years later.
Out of it.
And I made $1,000 in that first launch. One of the people who bought was my dad, so it doesn't really count. But
Parents are
I'm
great for
grateful.
that,
I'm
yeah.
grateful for the support.
Hmm.
And it just I proved myself that I created a return on this investment, right? I put in the work, I followed what she was teaching me step by step, and I saw a return. And then, I continued to take other small courses. I started coaching with some business coaches one-on-one, made one or two investments that were just okay. It really wasn't the perfect fit. One was a guy who I felt like he didn't really care about me as a person or my business. He definitely wanted me to succeed, but it kind of felt like he just wants to get my results so he can put them on his sales page.
I've been in one of those too. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, when you invest in someone, do your research, like follow them online, check out their content they're putting out for free, look at who is in their community, because, it's a great way if you're joining a bigger program to network and to make connections in the industry. But so you want to make sure that their following or their audience is an audience that you want to be a part of as well.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense. I think, for a lot of people, the audience is the hardest part. Like they're, trying to figure out where do they fit. And not
Mm-hmm.
even like, as somebody who's putting out content, who the fuck is my audience? Because I struggled with that, as you know. It was like, I don't know, it's everybody. And you're like, it can't be everybody. Um, so what are some of the, sort of, if you have sort of characteristics of, when you are looking for a coach and, it's like, okay, does this audience feel right? Is it a feeling, a gut feeling, or is it like, I'm looking for, I mean, some people are looking for specifics, but if they don't know, they're kind of just like blindly, like, I know I need help, but I don't know what that help looks like. Do you
Yeah.
have any guidance for people?
I mean, one, I think the as a coach myself, I feel like I attract women and clients or people in my audience who are similar to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I think one, you should always very much resonate with the coach. You should enjoy their teaching style and the content that they put out. If you have the opportunity to be in kind of some people run challenges or do webinars where you can actually be in their community. Some people have Facebook groups, so you can see who the people are that are engaging with them on Instagram. So you can definitely get a good feel for just the kind of people they're attracting. And then I think definitely look at the content they're putting out, look at the free stuff they're putting out, maybe buy a smaller make a smaller investment first. Like, I worked with a coach for over 2 years. I initially paid $250 for a bundle, then I invested $4,500 in a group coaching program, and then I spent $25,000 to work with her for a year. So I knew when I made that investment, she's going to be the one who can take me to that next level.
Yeah.
I'd probably, some people have podcasts, so you can just make sure you check them out, especially if you're making a bigger investment.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, it's, the know, like, and trust factor. Do you feel like you know this person, or at least know who they are, know what they represent? And, can they be of service to you on a deeper level than just, maybe the freebies or the content that they're putting out on Instagram? I mean, yes, that's it. Um, I think that's amazing. And so now, we're in this post-COVID social uprising world. How have you shifted again? I mean, like we talked a little bit about the coronavirus shift at the beginning, but now there's even, more of, there's just, I think it's great what's happening. I don't love why it's happening. Again, I mean, I say this about COVID as well. I don't love why it's happening, but I love what it's making people do. It's making, it's caused me to think a lot about how
Yeah.
do I want to run my business, and, the content that I'm putting out and the people, and again, we were just talking about audience. I'm like, wow, am I being as inclusive as I could be? Am I looking to, a diverse set of people to, learn from?
Yeah.
So how has this shifted, how you're, I mean, or has it changed anything at all? Does, more of the social part of what's going on in the
Yeah.
globe? How has that shifted your business?
It's definitely made me stop and listen and think and definitely look at my own business. And I think, I love this movement, and I love, like, this is history in the making, and it's about time. And I think it's like we have a long way to go. So thinking about, I wrote a post about this today, apart from sharing one post or a black square, what can we do to create a better future every single day moving forward? How can we amplify the voices of those who need to be heard? Because, I mean, yes, this is a huge issue. There's, women being sold for money. There's children working for like cents, a day. Like, there's a lot of issues that still need to be resolved. So it's like, okay, pay attention. How can you support? Can you give money? Can you give your signature? Can you give your attention? Can you give time? Can you bring in other people? I think for me, that was like, I have an audience. I want to use my voice. I'm not, as a white woman, the right person to educate on this matter, but I can use my platform
Yes.
to bring in people whose voices need to be heard. And I want to make that conscious decision to continue to do that moving forward in this matter, and then in other matters as well.
I love that. I had a very similar response to what's been happening as well. I mean, and I, yeah, it's been definitely like a lot of going inward, which this entire year has been about. I mean, that's what this whole year is. If you look, I mean, we won't talk about Chinese medicine because that's a whole separate tangent, but this year is about grief. It's about grief and the lung and the large intestine, which, I can't breathe, and we're in a respiratory illness pandemic. So there's just a lot going on there. And I've been thinking, how can I use my platform? I mean, it's not that big, but, I'm hoping to grow it. And, like, who knows who will hear it? It just takes one person, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's, are there recipes that I can be talking about? I mean, I was just like, oh my God, there's this whole treasure trove of people chefs and ingredients and things that I didn't know about. And how can that impact, not only my, mental and emotional health from learning, but also
Yeah.
like, are there foods that are medicinal? Probably, I mean, most cultures have used foods medicinally for hundreds, thousands of years. And so what new ingredients do I get to play with and learn about? And, who do I get to learn from? So I'm super excited just for myself, but also to, again, I'm with you as a white woman. I can't educate people on this. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
understand, but I stand with you and I want to
Yeah.
help. And I felt stupid because I have a degree in history, in U.S. history, and there are things that I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know, which that's a whole separate conversation, because I'm like, oh my God, what is the education system? We really need to really be looking at, I mean, that's a whole separate podcast in and of itself. But, what are we learning? And, the eyes through whom, like, what lens are we looking at history, from or through or whatever. And it's been super eye-opening and interesting. And I agree with you. It's not just the black square, which I also learned, I took mine down actually because I learned it, like, the whole movement sort of got diluted and disrupted, and it wasn't actually like what
Yeah.
it, was meant to be. And so, yeah, anyway, that's another topic. And so I think that that's really good guidance, is really, to pay attention and listen, and, you know, be open, be, looking for different people, and, use your platform for good. I, used two of my posts, the likes and the comments, I donated to different charities, and it was like, all right, guys, like, help me. Like, it takes literally
Yeah.
2 seconds to click, heart, whatever, double tap, whatever it is. So where do you go from here? I mean, like, what's next for you in terms of big projects? We're finishing up our mastermind, which is insane that it's been 6 months already. I'm just like, I mean, like, this year has both been like extremely long and very short all at the same time.
Yeah.
You've got your evergreen, Instagram course, which you guys it's awesome. Like, I remember watching your webinar and I was like, I'm in, this woman knows what she's talking about. And I'm so glad I did, because, not only have I met you, but, the community, I've definitely connected with a lot of wonderful people through that. So what's next?
I'm actually still trying to figure that out. I love taking a little bit of time off during the summer, so just definitely winding down a little, enjoying, like, you know, I'm huge, like, the whole idea of creating this business was to create freedom, and this is the time, you know, through COVID I've basically been working nonstop for the past 3 months, so it's time to chill a little. And then, you know, I host retreats, so I'm still waiting to see if my September retreat in Spain can happen, if people are thinking about travel at all or not. So that's kind of on hold. But yeah, apart from that, continuing to support people with Instagram, and I might have a little surprise coming your way soon.
I love surprises. That's amazing. So are there any, just as we're starting to wrap up, I know we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about audience and, how to, you know, look at, this is an investment in yourself and taking yourself seriously, which I think for me has been extremely helpful. What pieces of advice or guidance would you give to the audience, that are sort of not necessarily quick and actionable, but, that they can do in the nearer term, that will help them in their business, in their lives, and just being a contributor for society?
Ooh. That's a loaded question.
I know, they're hard.
I think well, this might sound a little selfish, but I think the most important step is to look at your life and look at what you want your life to look at like, right?
I think that's great. Yes. Who do you want to be?
Who do you want to be? Like, with Corona, there's been a huge opportunity to just look at everything that's going on and decide, is this what I want my life to look like? What do I want my life to look like? So I think that's a good place to start, and then set a goal, or even just play with the idea and envision what ideally you want your life to look like, and then kind of decide, okay, I'm going to focus on this. I like focusing on projects in like a 3 to 6 months kind of container. I don't really have a 10-year plan or even a 1-year plan, but decide, where do I want to be with this part of my life 6 months from now? And then look at who can help me get there. What do I need to change? Who do I maybe need to say goodbye to in my life? Who do I need to invite into my life? How can I surround myself with people who can help me get to where I want to go?
I don't think that's selfish at all. I think that, and, I'm doing a master class later, and that's one of the prompts that I give people when they're starting to think about another, whether it's, are they in the right job? Are they, like, just in your life? How do you want to be, how do you want your life to be? You get to design it. You're the architect of this, you're not a victim. Right. And it is a lot of work. I'm not going to say that any of this has been easy particularly, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of growth, and it's been amazing. So, I don't think that's selfish at all. How do you want to show up in this world? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to make an impact? Which I think is huge. On that note, where can people find you? I mean, obviously Instagram, and
I think Instagram is the best place if you want to send me a DM. So I know, just mention you've seen me on Shana's show. Shana's show. That's a
lot of alliteration. Yes, we're doing a lot of fun things here.
I'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. You guys, Carla is awesome. I think it was about a year ago that I took your class, and it's been, so I've gotten, to know her and learn from her over the year, and she's awesome. I mean, she has such an amazing story. I mean, we could have been here for a while talking about, the business that she built and how she built her Instagram following up, like, literally overnight. It's been so amazing. She's super helpful. But if you have any questions or comments for Carla, leave them below in the comments, or slide into her DMs. I mean, it's obvious, it's an open invitation. She's super responsive, super helpful, and awesome. And thank you so much. I mean, I know it's a little late in Portugal, so not super late, but I appreciate you.
It's so good.
Thank you so much. And all right, you guys, we'll talk to you soon. See you later.
Thank you.